So at the end of last week, the news dropped that Cathie Wood's ARK Invest Management, which had recently been in an acquisition fight and Cathie Wood was potentially getting forced out of, and where it once looked like Cathie was powerless to stop Resolute Investment Managers from acquiring a majority stake in ARK, well, now it looks like their dispute is heading towards an amicable resolution and it leaves Wood in control. And I think that's the right move for everybody because ARK is now up to 50 billion assets under management, and with them having such massive success this year, well, why ruin a good thing? If Cathie had lost control, I'm sure she would have taken her analysts and gone somewhere else. But now I think we can be resolute on ARK's future and watching them grow into 2021. So to that end, I think it's important to see where ARK is going into 2021. What are some of the plays they're making right now that I think are going to be undervalued and are going to come to define ARK in 2021 with their breakout success? Let's talk about 10 growth stocks that ARK has positions in that I think are going to pop off in 2021, and I think there are solid reasons for why. So the first company that ARK has a position in, and they've been making lots of acquisitions of recently, is TWLO Health, under the ticker TDOC. And they're mostly holding TDOC in the Genomic Revolution ETF, or ARKG, with an overall weighting of 4.07%. And so where I see the value of TWLO, and I think ARK agrees with me here, is that while they've come to fame primarily through the pandemic by facilitating virtual healthcare interactions with medical professionals, well, TWLO is much more than video-enabled consultation with doctors. As it's come to light, TWLO is much more than just video-enabled consultations with doctors. In fact, TWLO has been making acquisitions and has a portfolio of assets that span routine consultation, emergency medical care, and chronic condition management. And through their combination of AI plus the virtual communication, I think they're making big strides into revolutionizing healthcare. And that makes them very interesting in 2021, as there's going to be much more questions and much more conversations around healthcare, as there's going to be many more conversations around healthcare and how it's facilitated. So I'm very interested to see where TWLO goes in 2021, especially as it's been very clear recently that we're not done with the pandemic, that there's still going to be a lot of healthcare that needs to be done. So let's move on to another ARKG holding, which is Takeda Pharmaceuticals under the ticker TAK. It has an overall weighting of 0.32%, and it's clear that Takeda's new drug pipeline should explode revenue, I think increasing more than 50% over the next decade. So where is that revenue coming from? Well, the majority of this revenue growth is expected to come from the company's Wave 1 pipeline, which includes 12 unique new molecular entities, or NMEs, representing best-in-class, first-in-class therapies, as well as its existing 14 global brands. Of the Wave 1 programs, 5 have received Breakthrough Therapy designation and 3 were granted Fast Track designation by the USDA, as well as receiving similar designations by the Chinese and Japanese Food and Drug Administrations. Essentially, Takeda is a massive pharmaceutical company that is going to definitely continue to see revenue growth and definitely continue to see relevance in the years to come. And I think some of the breakthroughs are worth looking into because it's very interesting stuff. So moving on, let's talk about C Limited, which is primarily held in the ARKK Innovation ETF with a weighting of 0.92%. You can find C Limited under the ticker SE, and what's clear is that C is an internet platform provider. They developed an integrated platform consisting of entertainment, e-commerce, and digital financial services. And I think this is one that is very clear that it's going to continue to grow, and it's one of those ones that ARK is making lots of acquisitions of, so definitely look into this one. Another one that ARK has been making lots of acquisitions of lately, and is in fact the largest holding of anyone in this list, is MELI, MELI, which is the ticker for Mercado Libre, primarily held in the FinTech Innovation ETF, or ARKF. And while Mercado Libre is probably best known as the business that outlasted Amazon as the dominant commerce platform in Brazil and Mexico, well, what's clear now is that they have a thriving fintech business, and that's caught the attention of large players in the space such as PayPal, which recently made an investment in the business. So essentially, Mercado is the Amazon and PayPal and eBay of South America. And that makes it a very interesting play, and I think that's why ARK is holding so much of it. And similar to that, another company that ARK has a massive holding of is TWLO, held in the Innovation ETF, or ARKK, with a 2.25% weighting. And essentially, TWLO represents the interface between the physical and digital world, and they aim to be the middlemen of the digital economy, the API economy. Twilio's digital service enables experiences such as being able to be notified when your rideshare is within range or when your online food delivery has just been dropped off. So for the enhanced convenience of being able to receive these texts, to be able to facilitate these digital and physical interactions, well, Twilio just takes a small transaction tax each time one of these API calls are made. So as the world becomes more and more digital and as it increasingly is dependent on digital services, well, Twilio is well positioned to benefit and grow because of that. And I think ARK sees that, and it's representative of how much they hold of Twilio. But let's move on to another interesting play, which is KE Holdings under the ticker BEKE, which is the only one on this list which is primarily held in the ARKW or Next Generation Internet ETF, with a 1% weighting. And what makes this one special is that it's hard to comprehend, but until recently, China didn't really have a centralized property listing resource. And definitely coming from the US or other Western countries where we have them in abundance, I don't even think we consider them as a convenience anymore, merely the norm. Sites and services like Zillow and Redfin have made it so easy for us, but in China, that switch is still yet to come. And that transition period of enlightenment could be very rewarding to investors, because there's going to be a mass migration from the tired and clunky traditional means to the efficiency of online platforms. And make no mistake, this is a growth stock because there's a potential over the next 5 to 10 year period where they're going to eliminate the old ways and rapidly transition to the new and more efficient ones. And similar to that, another Chinese growth stock is JD.com under the ticker JD, held in the RQ Autonomous Technology and Robotics ETF with a 0.98% weighting. And essentially what is important about JD is that comparisons between Chinese e-commerce companies and Amazon are often inept. Because where Alibaba undisputably holds a B2C e-commerce throne, well, JD on the other hand is almost a pure e-commerce play where the core business has always been about selling products rather than just providing a platform. And it's really tied to the heart of the consumer rather than the enterprise. So I really like plays like that where it's direct to consumer, especially in this day and age where that's increasingly more efficient and desired. And another play that's making a similar promise is TWOU Incorporated under the ticker TWOU with a 1.36% weighting in the RQ ETF. Essentially, they're a provider of an integrated solution consisting of cloud-based software as a service combined with technology-enabled services. And essentially, they're a provider of an integrated solution that allows colleges and universities to deliver online degree programs. But again, it's more than just Zoom for doctors or Zoom for professors, because where TLDOC is really enhancing the overall healthcare experience, well, TWOU is looking to overhaul the overall student experience. And definitely online education is a trend that is slowly growing, but I expect to be expedited by recent news and the overall trends of things. Another company I see being massively expedited by the trends of things is Splunk, under the ticker SPLK. And that has a 1% weighting in the RQ ETF. And essentially, Splunk's platform has the ability to take a variety of different data sets generated by various platforms and machine data and be able to index and query that data. Splunk uses this capability to great effect in solving data security problems within the enterprise. And essentially, they look at machine data and determine abnormal patterns of behavior within different network elements, and they evaluate data logs and usage reports to determine potential problems and security threats. And essentially, Splunk is doing a lot to enable the Internet of Things and all these connected devices that people are increasingly bringing into their home or wearing on their bodies. And so having a platform like Splunk makes those devices secure and lets us continue to depend on them. And so the last company I want to talk about in ARK's holdings today is RAVN Industries, under the ticker RAVN. It's only got a 0.05% weighting in the RQ ETF. But what makes them special is that they have the AAS trifecta as their core business plan: autonomous vehicles, aerospace, and surveillance. This makes them a darling for government contracts and other big enterprise applications. And they've already been working with big players such as NASA, Google, and the US Air Force. And because government contracts basically print money, because these guys are very good at attracting them, well, I think there's going to be more contracts to come, and they're going to continue to grow as a result. So that's my list of the top 10 growth stocks held in ARK positions that I think you should be checking out. They are going to be doing big things in 2021, but I'd love to hear your opinions. What do you think about these positions or some of the other ones ARK are holding? What do you think about these stocks or some of the other ones that ARK is holding? Let's discuss in the comments below, but before you go, don't forget to join the 10X Tribe, our free community, all about helping you grow your account 10 times and take your trading to 10X and beyond. If you're looking to end your 2020 with a beginning, I think this is the perfect place for you to make sure you end your 2020 with a beginning. And as always, it's free to join, so check out the link in the bio below, and I'll see you there. But until the next video, thanks so much for watching. Take care out there. Cheers.